Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see about the labor movement in England. From the earlier times itself, we have seen that workers have formed associations, and this they formed only to defend their rights and interests because the employers were trying to take it away from them. So, against the employers, they formed associations, and as they developed as one whole class of workers, they organized resistance against capitalist exploitation and oppression, which was actually essential in order to fight for the unity of the working class and to organize to end the system of exploitation of man by man. And socialism has become the ultimate goal under the capitalist system. The British working class is rightly proud of and loyal to its great traditions of militant organization, determined and heroic struggle, all of which have characterized its history. In the earliest days, they were nationwide organizations like the Great Society of the 14th century or local craft bodies like the Yeoman Guilds. Economic advancement at first hindered the formation of permanent combinations among the journeymen of the Middle Ages. Certain classes of skilled manual workers who knew that they will never become employers succeeded in establishing long lasting combinations. Industrial revolution also changed things, making wider and more formidable combinations possible. The members of the earliest clubs were the skilled people, and the unskilled workers did not have any organizations like that. And a glimpse of activity in 1718 was where a proclamation against unlawful clubs in Devon and Somerset complains about how great numbers of wool combers and weavers had illegally presumed to use a common seal. The proclamation complains about how they tried to act as bodies corporate by making and unlawfully conspiring to execute certain bylaws or orders whereby they pretended to determine who had the right to the trade, what and how many apprentices and journeymen each should keep at once. When the masters would not submit, they fed them with money till they could again get employment in order to oblige their masters to employ them for want of other hands. In 1754, 300 Norwich wool weavers, desiring to obtain an increase in wages, retreated to a hill 3 miles away from the town and built huts. They lived there, and for 6 weeks they were supported by contributions from fellow workers. By 1721, the journeymen of tailors of London had a powerful and permanent union. When the capitalist builder or the contractor began to supersede the master mason, master plasters, etc., this class of small entrepreneurs had again to give place to a hierarchy of hired workers. Trade unions, in the modern sense, began to rise. The trade union was a successor of the guild. Both these institutions had arisen under the breaking up of an old system. From the moment that to establish a given business more capital is required than a journeyman can easily accumulate within a few years, guild mastership, the mastership of the masterpiece, becomes little more than a name. Labor and skill are like commodities. Skill has value, but the value is there only if it is sold or hired by the capital. Here you have the opposition of interest between capital and labor. Labor groups together and organizes the trade society. Industrial society is still divided vertically, that is trade by trade, instead of horizontally between employers and wage earners. It is the horizontal cleavage which would transform the organization of petty and narrow-minded craft mentality of the skilled into the modern trade union movement. The pioneers of the trade union movement were not the trade clubs of the town artisans, but the extensive combination of the West of England woolen workers and the Midland framework knitters. The Combination Acts. An endeavor by the ruling class was made to make even economic resistance impossible. The Act against illegal oaths, passed in 1797 against the Nore mutineers, was used to break up existing trade unions. The Combination Acts of 1799 and 1800 outlawed them altogether. They gave the masters unlimited power to reduce wages and make conditions more severe. The sentences passed on the compositors of the time since 1810 by the Common Serjeant of London, Sir John Sylvester, known as Bloody Black Jack, which induced reformer Francis Place to devote himself to repeal of the acts. It was the textile industries where the weight of the acts were felt. The trade clubs of the artisans were half tolerated. During the reign of this anti-union reign of terror, it gave birth to real trade unionism. Huge strikes or turnouts, as they were called, took place. The Scottish weavers in 1812, the Lancashire spinners in 1818, the North East Coast miners in 1810, Scotland 1818 and South Wales 1816, including the iron founders, they succeeded in defeating a wage reduction. The advance of unity through these bitter years saw the emergence of the first complete national unions. The calico printers, the Friendly Society of Iron Founders, the paper makers, and the rope makers were these national unions. Without the struggle, there would have been no room for the pushing through of a bill repealing the Combination laws. The repeal of the Combination Act seemed to have done nothing but to prove the futility of mere sectional combination due to the commercial slump of 1825. The emancipated combinations were no more able to resist reductions than the secret ones had been. Working men turned back again from trade union action to the larger aims and wider character of the radical and socialist agitations of the time, with which from 1929 to 1842 the trade union movement had become inextricably entangled. The new unionism of 1829-34. Just before this period, it is appropriate to say that the Lancashire spinners' struggles of the mid-20s had a consequent development of organization. A number of trades agreed to form a general union of trades, a philanthropic society that became known as the Philanthropic Hercules. This was the essence of the idea of one big union. It was in Lancashire that the first outstanding trades union leader appeared, John Doherty. He was the moving spirit in a conference of English, Scottish, and Irish textile workers held in the Isle of Man in 1829, at which the Grand General Union of the UK was set up. Despite of its name, it appears to have been a union of cotton spinners only. In 1830, Doherty became secretary to the National Association for the Protection of Labour. This was the first trades union or union of trades as distinct from organizations catering for one section of the workers only. The year 1831 saw the National Union of the Working Classes, formed by William Lowett to support the Reform Bill and with others in London, became the Metropolitan Trades Union, to which many unions were affiliated. In 1833, the Operative Builders Union was formed out of a number of craft unions reaching a membership of 40,000, mainly around Manchester and Birmingham. Early in 1834, it merged into the Grand National Consolidated Trades Union. At this time, radical politics were on the agenda and given great attention to by radical newspapers such as Voice of the People. They gave attention to the repeal of the Union with Ireland and the progress of revolution on the continent. The overnight newspapers towards the end of 1833 were full of references to the formation of a general union of the productive classes. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box, like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.